Come, claim your destiny.
We never got it. We never said, well, wait, this isn't the right thing to do.
You have a great line, which is, so this is how liberty dies.
We're in the middle of it right now.
To thunderous applause.
All right. Yes.
What if someone else beside you came to you and said, I want to make episode 7? Could you see that happening?
No.
No, absolutely, positively, you're really closing the door without any wiggle room whatsoever.
Right.
There is no episode 7.
Even for someone else to come up with.
Well, there's possibility there may be another offshoot movie somewhere about an offshoot character in that world.
But not episode 7.
But not about Luke Skywalker, not about that group of people and that struggle to bring democracy back to the galaxy.
This laid a foundation for Palestinian self-rule.
Today, with all our hearts and all our souls, we bid them shalom, salam, peace.
Although numerous difficult points remained to be worked out between the eternal enemies, at last peace had a hope.
Thanks, Bob, and good afternoon, everyone. Lucasfilm, and more specifically, the Star Wars franchise, fits perfectly within the Disney portfolio of intellectual properties, and strategic and financial implications of this acquisition are compelling.
And these people have sold their souls to the devil. Your soul is not yours to sell.
All the Star Wars films.
They were your kids.
Yeah, well, they are, right. I loved them, I created them. I'm very intimately involved in them, and obviously sell them off I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and
Our team has spent a tremendous amount of time evaluating this deal, and we've concluded that we are uniquely positioned to maximize the value of Lucasfilm's IP in a manner that can generate substantial value for our shareholders above and beyond the purchase price.
Fueled by a slave rebellion, the Louisiana Purchase was the largest landmass ever purchased in the history of the world. Napoleon Bonaparte, dictator of France, had a grand plan to expand his empire into the Americas, using the Louisiana Territory as a base for expansion.
And in 2012, Disney bought Lucasfilm, the folks behind Star Wars,
while Comcast bought DreamWorks in 2016.
Then, in 2017, Disney acquired BAMTech, one of the leaders in streaming video,
marking Disney's first big foray into distribution.
What lesson have you learned in life?
The grass is usually greener on the other side because most of the time it's fertilized with bullshit.
In this transaction, we will acquire rights to the Star Wars and Indiana Jones franchises, a highly talented and expert team, which we expect to provide us with a stream of storytelling opportunities for years to come, delivered via all relevant platforms on a global basis.
As I've gone through my career, I realized at some point I needed to retire, and I wanted to go on and do other things.
I looked at the future, I looked at the fact that I was going to have a baby, I looked at the fact that I was married, and I looked at the fact that I wanted to build a museum, and I looked at the fact that I wanted to make experimental films.
You said we need to stick together, but you don't even know what that means. If you ask me, you're the real sellout.
So, I sort of moved that treasure trove of stories and various things to Kathy, and I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and make great movies. I have complete confidence that she's going to take them and
make great movies.
Kathy came into the room with her steno pad and her pencil, and she was horrible at taking notes, and she was terrible, and she didn't really know how to do it very well. But what she did know how to do was interrupt somebody in mid-sentence. We'd be pitching ideas back and forth, and Kathy, who's supposed to be writing these ideas down, suddenly put her pencil down and would say something like, and what if he didn't get the girl, but instead he got the dog?
I'm doing this so that the films will have a longer life, and so that more fans and people can enjoy them into the future.
Be careful what you wish for.
From Indiana Jones to Star Wars and every major blockbuster in between, we promise you'll recognize our next guest. It's the president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy.
H is for hubris, overweening pride, super proud of yourself. Hubris, when you know you are the best, you are better than other people. Hubris, perhaps not a good thing. Super pride of yourself.
Did you guys watch some of the Ahsoka panel? Cool, huh? Great reveal, great reveal.
Fantastic.
Kathy Kennedy, we brought in very early on this conversation. And Kathy, first and foremost, is a great producer. And producers figure out ways to make things happen that are creatively exciting to the storytellers.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them, and that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
I want you to reinstate me.
Sheer fucking hubris. You think you could just waltz back in here and be entrusted with taking men and women into space? Don't you think I was watching The Hollow the other day along with everyone else? So do what you're good at. Go home.
Julie, we're home.
These are original stories and original ideas.
Awesome.
I just hand this to somebody. Thank you.
I'll just throw it. Thank you.
Once upon a time, there was a young man named Marcus who was known throughout his village for his excessive pride and arrogance. He believed that he was the most talented and capable person in the village, and he demanded that others treat him accordingly. He often made false claims and ascribed attributes to himself without reason. Despite his abrasive personality, Marcus was able to achieve some level of success due to his natural talents. However, he was not satisfied and constantly sought out new challenges to prove his superiority. He became obsessed with the idea of victory and refused to consider reconciliation or compromise. As time went on, Marcus's hubris only grew. He lost touch with reality and began to believe that he was invincible. He took risks that no one else dared to take and ignored the warnings of those around him. Finally, Marcus's arrogance led to his downfall. He made a fatal mistake in one of his endeavors and suffered the consequences. His reputation was ruined, and he was forced to leave the village. He came to realize that his excessive pride and dangerous overconfidence had blinded him to his own faults and limitations. In the end, Marcus's story served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and the need for humility. Although his actions affected him primarily as an individual, they also had collateral consequences for his community. His fall from grace demonstrated that unchecked arrogance and pretension can have disastrous outcomes.
The Walt Disney Company is buying Lucasfilm Limited, the company behind the Star Wars franchise, for $4 billion. Disney also promises fans a new installment of the series by the year 2015. The company says it plans to release a new movie in the series every 2 to 3 years thereafter. The last Star Wars film was Revenge of the Sith in 2005. Disney will pay about half the purchase price in cash and issue about 40 million shares to close the deal.
I'm Princess Jasmine of Agrabah.
Greetings, I am Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan.
And we are so excited about the Disney-Star Wars merger.
First step is to gather all of your materials in a convenient place so you'll be ready to go.
Dude, what? Star Wars is gonna die. It's dead. Oh, the worst decision ever. It's gonna die. Really? Have you seen the prequels? That already happened.
I truly believe that the 3 new Star Wars films Disney is planning on making will be light years better than the prequels.
Make us forget about the garbage prequels.
You're going to need grease pencils in various sizes and a sharpener.
As numbers build, the pressure to move on becomes overwhelming. But the river must be crossed, and pressure's growing from behind.
There is no possible way they'll fuck up the franchise that bad.
But now we're finally getting to see a Star Wars movie from the point of view of a fan who has the ability to make a movie that's actually going to be considered a Star Wars movie and not a fan film.
Have you ever watched a Star Wars movie and just think to yourself, you're like, it would be really cool to see how this director would direct a Star Wars movie, or how this writer would write a Star Wars movie? Now we live in a world where that's not only a possibility, it is an inevitability.
Honestly, I'm kind of excited to see how the next Star Wars movie is going to be.
Start by outlining where your eye makeup and your muzzle will be. I start with the white makeup, and I apply my makeup wet, which means I put on all the colors before I powder.
We now get to see new Star Wars movies written and directed by people other than George Lucas.
People like Josh Whedon or fucking J.J. Abrams, hell, even Kevin Smith are all way more capable than Lucas, so.
After you're powdered properly, you could jump in a swimming pool and your makeup wouldn't come off.
I know you guys are used to the cynical hello Greedo, and trust me, the cynicism is alive and well burning inside me. But I have hope.
Hope. Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
In all honesty, Disney makes solid films. They have a great writing staff and really know how to create heartfelt entertainment.
I have a lot of faith in Disney. They put out a lot of great films, and I don't think that they're going to do a bad job with this next movie.
Then I put the nose on and make sure that it goes on straight.
There's no way they'll be worse than the prequels. No way. I see the Star Wars franchise under Disney's new control turning into what the James Bond franchise has become.
We might have some really good Star Wars stories for years to come, and I'm okay with that.
So stupid. No, Disney is so enamored with these two new characters that they've made the sisters, May and Osha.
There's no way they'll be worse than the prequels. No way.
On The Rise of Skywalker, after my first viewing, it felt so disjointed. It didn't feel like a continuation to me. It just kind of felt like a sidestep. You know, we had some really fun things going on with the previous two sequel movies.
And they're going to release 7 and 8 and 9, and they will look and feel like Star Wars movies, or else George Lucas never would have agreed to it in the first place. But when we sit down in the theater and watch the movie, instead of 20th Century Fox's logo, it's going to be Disney's logo, but then it's going to be Lucasfilm's logo. Right. And a Star Wars movie is going to look and feel like a Star Wars movie. It's going to be live action. They're going to be 2.5 hours long. It's probably going to come out in May, because all 6 Star Wars movies came out in May.
Even though Disney now owns Star Wars, don't you think George Lucas will still be a part of making the movie? I think so. I don't think he would just give it away and be like, see ya, I'm going on a vacation forever and I'm never going to be involved with a Star Wars movie again. I really think that he's going to be just as involved, but he just doesn't own the brand anymore.
Yeah, well, the movies are based on his treatments, his stories, his characters, so it's still going to be a George Lucas influenced Star Wars movie.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean I'm unwilling to turn it over to Kathy to do more. Mm-hmm. I have story treatments of 7, 8, and 9 and a bunch of other movies, and obviously we have hundreds of books and comics and everything you could possibly imagine.
The ones that I sold to Disney and everything, they came up to the decision that they didn't really want to do those, so they made up their own. So it's it's not the ones that I originally wrote.
Look at these films, aren't they neat? Wouldn't you think their collection's complete? Wouldn't you think that Disney had everything? They want more. They want to be where the Jedi are. They want to see lightsabers.
more stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it. The dark side. The Jedi. They're real.
I might owe you a little bit of an apology. Sorry about that. You know, when you think to yourself, you know what the review is going to be like. Here we go. How did we get here? What happened? Like, what happened to Star Wars? What happened? Where are we? What weird alternate dimension am I in? Let's review.
There it is. There it is. The plane went right through the other tower of the World Trade Center.
That is a very hard thing to watch.
These
are incredible pictures that we're watching this morning. These, thanks to our affiliate WNYW in New York. You are looking at this picture. It is the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, both of them being damaged by impacts from planes. We saw one happen at about maybe 9 minutes before the top of the hour, and just moments ago, so maybe 18 minutes after the first impact, the second tower was impacted by another, what appeared to be another passenger plane.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
For the coming year to show you guys more and more and to show you the movie eventually. That'll happen eventually. Right now though, all I want to do is watch the trailer in this.
Perhaps heard someone describe that feeling of an impending doom right before experiencing a full-blown anxiety or panic attack.
Is there anything that you want us to know going into The Last Jedi? Anything you want to tell the audience or the world about this one in comparison to the other ones?
It's the longest one. A feeling of dread that can wash over you for what feels like no apparent reason.
I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup, but if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference, but it's not my story anymore.
Let's take a look at what's involved in the process and why this particular anxiety symptom causes even more anxiety.
Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars, so I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker, but I had to do what Ryan wanted me to do because it serves the story well. But listen, I still haven't accepted it completely, but it's only a movie. I hope people like it. I hope they don't get upset. And
there's a big difference between knowing that something really bad is going to happen and thinking or feeling like something really bad is going to happen.
Finally, tomorrow night.
Well, it is difficult because it's the character's part of you. Then when you see how he's interpreted by other writers and directors, sometimes it can be surprising. And in this script, It was very surprising.
The fear of impending doom, of which we're referring to here, is one of thinking or feeling that something bad is going to happen.
Well, if you take it on its face, I was shocked when I read that. Totally shocked. Because you say to yourself, what could have happened to Luke that he would have that idea in his head? I said, look, I think I know the Jedi philosophy, and a Jedi would never give up. If he made a mistake, he would try and correct it. So that was tough. And I realized this is, I probably will anticipate a line. This is not going to go the way you think.
This is not go. You're right. And you said that was a very important line.
Yeah, because it's not.
Coming at this as Star Wars fans in general.
Will you give this film, I'm asking you, will you give this film leeway for being a Disney fanatical Star Wars?
What does that mean? What does leeway mean?
Wait, I can remember, did you have a problem? I can't remember if you had a problem with Leia flying through space.
Yes, everyone in their right mind had a problem with that.
And I did not have a problem with it.
Well, so that's because you're not in your right mind.
I'm not in my right. Okay, I'm saying that it's a Disney fanatical Star Wars universe.
What the f is this Disney fanatical bullshit? What the hell do you mean by that?
I'm saying they're taking the Force and they're expanding on it in ways that George Lucas would never do. I don't understand how you can claim to be fans of this and you see a character that you love do something amazing and you just go, it's stupid, it's stupid.
How far do you have to go before you say, okay, that's not very good?
I guess until they just destroy the characters they've created. I don't know.
You mean like how they did in this movie?
No, I disagree with that. That's where we keep coming back to. You keep saying, oh, the characters are this or that, and I disagree.
But we make references to, past films or scenes or dialogue while you're telling us, hey, it's Disney, they can do it if they want to. You see how your argument's not very strong?
So my argument isn't strong.
Yes.
Let's begin.
Your question is that I say love and hate are the same energy. Then why there is so much hate in the world and not so much love? Because nobody has been teaching you about hate.
I think that this movie will easily be the best movie of this trilogy. And I think this will be one of the best Star Wars movies ever to come out. Come at me, bruh.
Because nobody has been teaching you about hate.
This movie was utter trash. I hated it. It was garbage. Break this motherfucking movie, bruh. I hated this movie.
Hence, hate has remained pure, unadulterated. Nobody has bothered about you. Nobody has told you how to hate, whom to hate.
It's time we talk about everything that happens in this movie. This will be filled with spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, please stop watching now, although I feel less guilty about spoiling bad movies.
Wow. Because hate has been left untouched by your parents, teachers, and priests. It has a purity.
Hated it.
Yeah, he was like tossing it over his shoulder. What'd you think?
That was, can we blur this? I know we're bleeping it, but can we blur it? To me, that felt like the director just going like this to fans. And also, if Luke didn't want to be found, why did he leave a map to where you could find him?
Right.
Think about what you want about The Force Awakens, that's fine, but stuff was set up. This was just Rian Johnson taking all of that and just burning it. One of the things that I hope that we would have learned from this, even just one of the things, like this isn't me in my own head. Also, never in Star Wars, and then he milks a giant lactating sea moose.
Right. The other part that you said you hated was that.
I don't know why Rian Johnson hates Chewbacca so much, but the only thing he made him do was almost eat a porg. That the beginning part of the island was terrible. Yeah. And making a joke about the Force books not being a real page turner, like they just took everything, get rid of characters, kill people off, that's fine. Right. But at least give us some sort of payoff. The purple hair, who's that? You would never ask that one time, even if you just seen her going in between offices.
Character, I know you hated that.
And also, why not just tell Poe the plan?
Well,
Do you know how many people died? Do you know how many people died because they just felt that he didn't need to know? A lot of people died.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to watch that part again.
Also, you can't weaponize hyperspace. That is like the most un-Luke Skywalker thing that Luke Skywalker has ever done.
Okay, I think that's it. You got anything else? No. Okay, that's good. That's his thoughts on The Last Jedi.
Talked about Chewie eating. Talked about Luke
we're still
eating.
gonna go.
Yeah.
When a man hates you, you can trust that he hates you. But when he loves you, you cannot.
It is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a good film. And if you are still one of the people out there saying, it's actually a masterpiece and it's so shut up! You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But do not for one goddamn second presume to think I am stupid enough, as stupid as you are, to buy that it is a good quality piece of cinema. That there was any talent or mastery that went into writing that garbage ass script. Do not presume that me or anybody else is that stupid. So let's get that out of the way.
Know perfectly well that when you hate someone, it has a tremendous force.
It just fills me up with so much rage inside of my body that it starts lighting my brain cells on fire.
Star Wars The Last Jedi comes out this week, and I get to watch it in about 2 days. I can't get here soon enough.
Because nobody has been teaching you about hate.
And it just bums me out. It's a huge bummer.
When you hate someone, it has a tremendous force. And when you love someone, there is not that force.
I'm pissed off! You know, and I don't get pissed off about movies very often.
What the hell were they thinking?
You remember your enemies more than your friends.
Kathleen Kennedy and your writing team that are currently handling this expanded universe of Star Wars films have either lost the plot entirely or you don't care.
Let me start this review by saying, fuck this movie. Fuck this movie and fuck everyone in it.
I don't even have one good fucking thing to say about this movie. It is just rancid diarrhea.
This movie took everything that you like about Star Wars, that you love about Star Wars, that you thought you knew about Star Wars, and it on it. And on it again, and then it sets it on fire, and then it on it again.
I'm so upset I can't even talk about it. I can't. I'm just like, I don't even... Oh, man.
You can forget your friends, but you cannot forget your enemies.
Star Wars Last Jedi is officially the worst Star Wars film I have ever seen in my entire life.
It's pretty much The Empire Strikes Back. That's what it is. Rebels are discovered. Rebels have to escape their base. A rebel ship is constantly pursued by the big bad guys.
He says a your mama joke. He's like, I'm on hold for your mother or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, what is happening?
And the bombers apparently gravity applies in space, which is weird.
The most overly powered, worst written character of all Star Wars history.
Well, now we know why Mark Hamill said that he fundamentally disagreed with everything they did with his character.
That was just one of the cringeworthiest scenes I've ever seen.
Utterly disappointing.
What is happening?
Looking back, would you change anything in your script, or do you stand by all your choices?
Nope, stand by every choice.
I'm right.
Not you. Oh God. No. No!
Ray Skywalker.
Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo, I'm Han Solo.
What's your name, son?
Han.
Solo. So that's it? What, we some kind of...
Han.
Solo.
We saw over 3,000 people. and
Turns
seen
out
it.
that was a total waste of money.
It's very cliche to say that it's a dream come true. You know, growing up, you didn't even think it was possible to direct a Star Wars movie. You didn't even think it was something that was possible to do.
The directing team of Lord and Miller, the other guys there in the bottom left, who were this week fired from the Han Solo movie, which was quite shocking because they were among that was really the only one of the forecasted Star Wars projects I was actually interested in, and the only reason I'm actually interested in it is because Lord and Miller were involved, and what they have done on the 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, and especially the Lego movie, which was their last film, which was a fucking masterpiece. I was really excited to see what they were going to do.
Well, their trademark thing is they take a bad idea for a movie that they've been assigned and somehow magically make a masterpiece out of it.
Yes.
And that's what I assumed when I heard that they announced a young Han Solo movie. That's a bad idea. Then Lord and Miller were attached to it and was like, oh,
this makes it go. Go, stop. Like a panther. Yes?
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy.
I was 18 telling everyone around me, I'm going to be a superstar. And everybody's going, yeah, whatever. She's an egomaniac. And then, haha.
So Mark Hamill commented on Liz's post where she talked about her late dad's love for Star Wars and wrote, "Lucky to have you as part of a family. Welcome. With a heart, MH." It's not lost on me, and I don't think it's lost on Mark either, the significance of him showing public support for Lizzo.
May the Force be with you. Unless you're MAGA, then you can go force yourself.
It's not our fault, it's because of Kathleen Kennedy. Make it more lame. And everyone in town is like, no, please, Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. Put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more f***ing lame. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stars? No, Kathleen Kennedy. Power one.
Our show, our Star Wars show, has been canceled. And for those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced since the show was even announced. Experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry.
Well, I mean, white people crying actually was the goal.
And vitriol, prejudiced.
Some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But in my world, nerds are gay.
Hatred and hateful language towards us.
Why John Locke? Because he was stupid enough to believe that he'd been brought here for a reason? Because he pursued that belief until it got him killed?
Our show, our Star Wars show, has been canceled. And
That could only happen to someone who was extremely special.
Don't worry about it. What, you think you're the only one around here with artistic talent? Huh. Come on, let's get out of here.
But I'm sick and fucking tired of suppressing my rage. 40 years of taking the bullshit to compartmentalize that my ancestors had to engage.
You have received horrific racist backlash, including threats, and what you call intolerable racism. That is your quote. And what has that been like?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really appreciate you giving me the space to speak about it. It's been very painful for me. It's not something that I think you can emotionally prepare for. And we welcome criticism of the show when it comes to storytelling or performance.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
I've had to think really deep and hard about when you display discipline and when you display honor. And I guess what I mean by that is when do you decide to utilize discipline to not engage in a reactive way to hatred?
And so I dropped a diss track. That's what I heard.
I dropped a diss track about it. And oh, there it is!
Just be calm. Don't think you're on top of the world in the sense. You always got to be wary, because I've seen it. I've seen people come. I've seen people go. I've seen them come. I've seen them go. You got to be chill. You got to just take what's good in your life and move forward cautiously and carefully. And thank God that you have that. Just it's very, very important not to overextend yourself when you think you got it. There's no such thing. Everybody's dispensable.
Filmmakers, especially young women, ask me, if I want to become a filmmaker, what do I do? I'm always like, when that happens, say yes. Don't say, I don't know how to make a movie, because men don't say that.
Did you? Because you only wrote...
Like 60 pages
60
of
pages
backstory.
about how
That's my favorite thing
There's
in the
so much.
world.
She wrote so much backstory to the characters. Almost put more. I mean, you put so much thought
into exactly what you just said.
And I wasn't planning on writing 60 pages, and then I was just like, but it's 2 people. This is the only way.
Can you share something from those 60 pages?
I thought a lot about the fundamental nature of these 2 girls, and
can you share something from those 60 pages?
And how that fundamental nature has shaped their life path. And with Osha, it's like she's never actually been able to find where she belongs quite yet.
Today's question is, why do I keep making the same mistakes in life over and over and over? And we are really excited to be sharing some news today. Projects that will span the past, the present, and the future. And while it's still very early days, we did invite a few of those directors to join us today. And Sharmina Bhatt Shenoy.
That's why I'm attracted to the promise of a new Jedi Order.
Absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
Yes, yes.
So the first woman and the first person of color to direct a Star Wars film. It's set to be released in 2026. Here's Sharmina Bhatt Shenoy.
I'm very thrilled about the project because I think we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
Because you need to change your attitude, and it's only when you're uncomfortable, when you're shifty, when you have to have difficult conversations, that you will perhaps look at yourself in the mirror and not like the reflection.
That's why I'm attracted to the promise of a new Jedi Order, and I'm attracted to the idea of immersing myself in a Jedi Academy with a powerful Jedi Master.
It is important to be able to look into the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that.
That stuff goes in and creates your beliefs and expectations, and when that happens, then you get comfortable with that.
And it should make you uncomfortable because you need to change your attitude.
Who would like to meet the Jedi Master? Come on, make some more noise.
If you have patterns repeating in your life and they're not beneficial to you, why don't they just change? guess what? If you just go on living on automatic, nothing's going to change. You have to be brave and courageous and decide that this thing isn't going to change on its own. You've got to do something to make it change. So what do you do? Depends on what you want to change.
Nobody understood the Force. Nobody, what they do is, and then they started other ones when I sold the company, and they, a lot of those ideas that were in there sort of got lost. But that's the way it is. If you give it up, you give it up.
I just don't think this could turn out bad in one way, because unless the movies bomb, which I always have fears about. I mean, of course, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, these better not fail. But I think with today's story writers, who decided to make all that into movies, it would be unreal. But now that they could actually take some of that and make it into movies is unbelievable. And if they stick to those stories, if we have a good director, I would love to see the Thrawn trilogy be made into a movie, but that's just my personal opinion. I like the Thrawn trilogy. But yes, I'm looking over at my bookshelf right now, just looking at all these different novels and seeing that, and it's wow. But I got off topic here. I'll get back to it somehow.